My creep brother-in-law professed his love for me at my wedding to his brother. So I took revenge in the best way possible.
Pretty dramatic.
I think I have done serious damage to my marriage before it even began.
Uh-oh.
I met my husband through his brother, Chris, who I had a crush on in college. I never was clingy or never acted on my feelings, and I never really allowed myself to get too close to him because I knew my feelings weren't reciprocated. Chris knew, however, I had a crush on him. At least he felt it. He always would say that I was girlfriend material and how he wouldn't want to lead me on. He wanted to have fun before that. He would say this to others, but even once to me. Sounds like a grade A douche.
A+.
On 2 occasions, he would text me that he had feelings for me, only to apologize later and retract his words. But on Christmas 4 years ago, he texted me that he was in love with me and wanted to take me out on a date.
Unbelievable.
He said he was done playing around and wanted a relationship. He was invited to a New Year's Eve party that my then roommate and I had. He told me he wanted to talk to me then. When he came to the party, he had his brother with him. Chris spent the party going out of his way to ignore me, and later I saw him making out with my roommate and they spent the night in her room.
Oh, he's awful.
So much for the confession of love. And on New Year's Eve.
And with her roommate.
Anyway, I decided there and then that I would drop it. Enough is enough. Next morning, he told me that he f***ed up and apologized. And during the party, I got to know his brother, who is the complete opposite of Chris, which is a very good thing because no one wants to be...
No one wants another Chris.
No one wants another Chris. We don't need more Chris's in our life. He was shy and hated attention, and he was just the best. And soon after, he asked me on a date. Guess what?
What?
We are married now.
What? Aww.
Our wedding was last Wednesday. I want to make 2 things clear. I never went beyond a crush on Chris, and it was only after I fell for my husband that I understood what love is. He is everything to me, and I love him more than anything. I never told anyone about my crush, and when I met my husband, I didn't tell him either. Chris wasn't happy I was seeing his brother, and he's been cold towards me ever since, even when it got serious between my husband and I. So Chris held a speech on our rehearsal dinner, and he basically outed everything and ended with how he regretted not asking me out sooner and how he will always regret it.
Oh my goodness. Chris is just stringing everyone along.
Bro, he's doing like a Shrek, like, I object thing right here. It was very awkward afterwards, and nobody talked. And on our wedding day, my husband did everything to act normal, and he made sure everything was as planned, but I could feel that he was hurt and angry. After the party, he asked me if I loved Chris and if I dated him for that reason. I started crying because it's absolutely not true. We started dating and became friends, and I made sure it was him I wanted before committing, and I never loved anyone like I love my husband. I told him all this and more, and I apologized so much for not telling him everything. In the beginning, I thought it was my own private matter, and it didn't feel like there was a need to discuss it with a then stranger to me. When our relationship evolved, I just never thought Chris was relevant, and my crush seemed like a silly thing.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like it's like you need to bring it up.
It's not like they didn't even
they
kiss.
didn't date.
They didn't even kiss.
Yeah.
Now it's back to bite me in the butt. My husband is very sad, and he barely talks to me. We're leaving for our honeymoon in 2 weeks. He barely speaks about it. The thing we both waited for with so much anticipation and longing. I don't know what to do. I can't turn back time, so I just don't know what to do. And Sophia, there is an update, and we're going to get into it in a second, but what do you think OP should do?
I think OP should get a divorce.
Sophia, why are you always saying divorce? You're always saying divorce. Chris seems like a nice guy.
No, it's not Chris. Chris is the
Chris's
nice
brother seems like a nice guy.
No, but
OP's husband. OP's husband seems like a nice guy.
Okay, maybe not divorce, but he should get in trouble because he immediately was like, oh, do you love my brother? When she's made she has not shown any signs of not loving him. And he just immediately believed Chris over her.
Yeah, it's a pretty butthole thing to do.
It's a pretty butthole thing to do.
But put your answers in the comments. What do you think OP should do?
Divorce.
Now we're going to go into the update. So yesterday, my husband and I were invited to my in-laws for a cookout. When we arrived, Chris saw us and tried to scrape her. I don't know what that means. Well, nobody expected us to show up, and my husband wanted to decline, but I insisted. There we go. I caught Chris, however, and loudly said, "Oh, I'm happy you are here because I wanted to talk to you."
My. She's very confrontational.
I told Chris that what he did was a shitty thing to do, and it didn't just hurt me, but it hurt his brother even more, and that the only reason I didn't speak up was because I was in shock, but also didn't want to ruin our day by arguing back and forth with an arrogant and selfish man who always hid behind alcohol to explain his bad behaviors like he's some kind of tween.
Wow.
I told him that the only good thing about him in my eyes, the only redeeming quality, is that he decided to bring his brother with him that night. And even if I was very angry with him now, I will always be thankful to him, and I always will be grateful that I crossed paths with him because it led me to someone better.
Wow.
My husband.
Yeah.
Guess what he did?
What did he do? Oh, no.
He
Not
just
the
cried
waterworks.
and mumbled that he had somewhere to go and left.
Of course he did. He's probably
no
drunk.
apology, nothing.
Nothing.
Probably drunk.
Probably drunk.
When we got home, my husband, who's been sleeping in the living room almost every night, hugged me and kissed me.
Oh, unbelievable. Sleeping in the living room?
You should
Come on.
talk about it.
Yeah.
Communication
like he wasn't
is key,
like, oh, like that was kind of awful of my brother to do. Obviously, I believe you.
He hugged me and he kissed me, and it was the first time he kissed me since the I do.
Divorce.
Sophia, divorce chance. I felt my anger building up again, and I had another outburst. I told him that we weren't okay and that he never has the right to shut me out and give me the silent treatment for so long ever again. If he wanted to stay married to me, he needs to know that that's not good. So he said, I know, and that he regretted his coldness. A little too late?
A little too late.
This morning, my husband woke me up with kisses and hugs and apologized for hurting me and taking his anger out on me. He said the shock was too great for him, and he was afraid that I didn't love him and just settled for him because Chris is the charmer and always had it easy to be loved by people.
He sounds a little insecure.
Yeah, he's just insecure.
Yeah, but that
Cut him some slack, Sophia.
No.
He's the shy boy. Divorce.
No.
He thought something more happened, and he didn't dare ask because he wasn't mentally prepared to hear that the love of his life maybe wasn't his.
He didn't dare ask. Oh
Sophia's
my
cutting
God.
this dude no slack.
No.
Just like, fuck this guy.
Come on.
We discussed therapy, and we are planning to start looking for a therapist after our honeymoon. But for now, I just wanted to snuggle next to him and feel his love. Is that a euphemism? I want to feel his love inside me. Swell up inside me. Fill me with his love. He has a lot of making up to do.
So true, OP.
So, I mean, I want to know from everyone in the comments, like, what would you do if you got the silent treatment from your husband?
Yeah.
For like weeks after
Was
your
it weeks?
marriage? Yeah, like almost like 2 weeks.
Unbelievable.
That's a lot of silent treatment.
That's a lot of
And he
silent
didn't kiss?
treatment.
But he was hurt though.
Yeah, but like didn't hurt to talk. Like he says that he didn't want to talk to her about it. That's crazy.
Well, I think where OP's husband went wrong is like you should
talk
about it. You shouldn't fear the worst.
Yeah.
You know? Because then you're just creating something that didn't happen.
Exactly.
But what do you think OP should do? Do you want to follow Sophia's path of divorce instantly? And also, like, I want to hear your crush stories and the people that have had crushes on you. Put your answers in the comments. I want to hear them all. And you're allowed to have crushes on Sophia or I.
So true.
I have a crush on a podcast host that is called OKOP. All right. We love you. We'll see you soon. My wife hates my thermostat temperature, so we might get a divorce, but I've got a trick up my sleeve.
Oh, that's pretty cold. Ooh, chilly.
Brr. Welcome, my sister.
Brr.
My wife, 26 female. My wife. And I, 28 male, have been married for about half a year now.
Not long.
6 months. You can say 6 months. When you have a baby, what do you say? You say 6 months.
I say 9 months.
So we lived together in an apartment before getting married, and now we live in a house I inherited from my grandmother. This summer has been quite hot, and so like most people, we have been running our air conditioning nearly around the clock. Hashtag thanks global warming and Obama.
And Obama.
Thanks Obama. My wife and I have very different ideas of how it should run though. Using energy saver recommendations, I like to keep it around 76 Fahrenheit and on low. My wife likes to turn it to 60 degrees and blast it on the highest setting, then turn it off when she gets cold, then turn it back on when she gets hot.
That's a little chilly for me.
I've tried discussing this with her, but there's literally nothing I can do or say to convince her. She currently stays at home taking care of the house while I go to work. And the second I'm at the door, the thermostat is messed with.
Wait, what is she taking care of? The thermostat?
She's
just taking care of the thermostat?
I don't know. She's taking care of the house.
Under employment, she just has thermostat.
I've tried showing her our exorbitantly expensive power bill from May of all months, so it was only going to go up. So June, July, August, that's doubling. But she doesn't care.
Ugh.
She was like, I want my thermostat at 60. I don't care if it costs $6,000.
Yeah, she's managing the home.
Yeah,
so.
I control the thermostat. That is my job in this relationship.
That's her one job.
And so you're going to take this job away from me?
No.
She says that she's at home all day, so she should have control over it.
That's fair.
That is true. That is true.
That's true.
We've argued about this on and off. And about 3 weeks ago, I got a reservation for a new digital thermostat installation. The guys finally came in a few days ago and installed a new smart thermostat off our older air conditioning unit. The first thing I did was, what do you think the first thing he did was? He installed a password to protect, so you would need a PIN to change any of the settings.
He child locked it.
I don't know if it's a good look to child lock things from your wife.
Your wife of 6 months whose job is the thermostat.
My wife came home a few hours after.
Where was she?
Huh?
Where was she?
She was not taking care of the house or the thermostat. I feel like this is coming off misogynist.
Yeah.
My wife came home a few hours after I had set the PIN and noticed the new unit. When she tried to change the settings, she was met with a request for a PIN. And she asked me what it was. I told her, I'm not going to tell you that. How about no? Then she asked what she should do if she gets hot. I responded that she can still turn the air conditioning on and off without the PIN.
Okay. Just can't control the temperature? That's crazy.
The next morning, I left for work as normal, setting it to 76. So when I got home in the afternoon, I found my wife on the living room floor, pantomiming a fainting spell. I have fallen and I cannot get up. She mustered the energy to say, help, water. I ignored her. This husband sucks. I ignored her because you faint from heat, not in a climate-controlled room. When she realized I wouldn't give her attention, she exploded in anger and yelled that she could have died, prompting another argument. Okay, I think that's being a little dramatic. I think everyone's being dramatic in this story right now.
Yeah, I think they're both in the wrong.
She ended it with calling me controlling and hasn't said more than a word to me since. Things have been rough for the past couple of days. I feel like what I did was completely justified, but was I an asshole in this? I want to know what y'all think. Put your answers in the comments right now.
Mm-hmm.
But Sophia, do you think OP was an asshole? Do you think the wife was an asshole? Do you think everyone's an asshole?
I think everyone's an a-hole.
Why?
Okay, one, the husband shouldn't be child locking the thermostat. That's
such
my mom did that to me yesterday.
She child locked the thermostat?
No. She left me in the Tesla and put it on dog mode. I love my mom.
And I love when she treats me like an animal.
No, but anyway, I think that he is in the wrong because you need to communicate with your wife of 6 months. But no, I think that they just aren't right for each other. I think that they're...
Yeah, Sophia's like divorce.
I think they need to divorce if that's their... Or go to therapy.
Well, before you're crying the divorce bells, maybe they should just have a chat about...
Maybe they should have a chat.
A compromise between 60 and 76.
Yeah, I feel like
put the thermostat at 72.
72, 70, like something.
You know, I want more thermostat stories about you fighting for your life. Also, if anyone passes out a lot, I want to hear your passing out stories.
Yeah, if anyone knows what's wrong with
my
me,
sister's passing out.
I'm passing out a lot.
She doesn't know why.
Diagnose me.
I want all of our internet doctors to come out of the woodworks.
My sisters couldn't control their annoying kids, so I refused to save them from drowning.
I feel like that might be an unforgivable thing to do as a brother. Allowing their children to drown while you watch, saying, yes, fill those lungs with water, you annoying child.
But maybe there's something more than meets the eye.
All right, let's see.
Okay. My folks decided to host a barbecue because I guess that's what older people do. I declined because I really don't like my 2 sisters, their husbands, or their kids.
Sounds like you don't like your entire family.
That sounds like the whole family. Mom then pressured the wife. Long story short, we went. okay. By the time we arrived, there were about 20 people there. My sisters and their husbands were already solidly buzzed. Drunk, really. That doesn't bode well. My mom was spending 100% of her time trying to keep the nieces and nephews, ages 7 to 11, more or less under control.
So far, OP sounds like a buzzkill.
Yeah, exactly. My dad had strategically retreated to the whirlpool part of the pool with a small cooler full of beers.
Oh, okay. So the pool doesn't have beers. He's just going to the part of the pool.
So there's a whirlpool part of the pool.
That sounds dangerous.
Wife and I made small talk with miscellaneous people, ate food, and had a frozen margarita. Sisters and brothers-in-laws took turns criticizing us for being late, not being in our swimsuits, and screwing up the vibe. That does seem like that's what they're doing. Whatever. Typical suburban summer get-together. About 45 minutes in, two of the kids ran at one of the neighborhood guests, who was standing next to the pool, and pushed her in. She was at the pool steps, stumbled in, but didn't fall, so only got half wet. She was clearly very unhappy about it, but she didn't make a scene, just went over to where the parents were, grabbed their towels, dried herself off, and left. Sisters and brother-in-laws thought it was all great fun. Those kids seem pretty awful, I'm gonna be honest.
Not the most well-behaved children.
They pushed one of the neighbor guests.
Yeah, I mean, but it is a pool party.
It's a pool party. She should have been in the pool.
They just wanted to make sure everyone was having fun.
Exactly. A bit later, I was standing a few feet away from the pool chatting away with someone. I saw three of the kids running full tilt at me from the corner of my eye. Obviously, I was next.
Them the kids chose was the buzzkill.
Not that it's terribly difficult to outwit young kids, but I just jumped out of the way at the last second. All three of them ran straight into the pool at full speed. Most of the other guests, including my wife and me, started laughing, but their moms, who I mentioned were pretty shit-faced, absolutely freaked out. Apparently, two of the kids couldn't swim, even though they were in their swimsuits. Since I wasn't in swim gear, I stepped back from the pool and let other people fish the kids out. The kids were bawling their heads off like they'd lost a limb. At that point, all hell broke loose. The four drunk parents were yelling at everyone in general, and me in particular, for nearly letting their kids drown. And also because two of the kids had been videoing the trick using their parents' iPhones, which were now at the bottom of the pool.
This just seems like completely the kids' fault. The only thing Opie is maybe a dick for is just like watching the kids drown. It's like, that's someone else's problem. I'm trying to be child-free.
I'm trying to be child-free. One of my brother-in-laws got into the pool to try and retrieve the phones, but his BMI and BAC made that impossible. No one else volunteered to help. Unsurprising, given that my sisters were still bitching at everyone. I told my sisters it was their job to watch their kids, and that if anything had happened to them, it would have been their responsibility, not mine. That's kind of true. Those are their kids. They should know how to swim.
Also, just PSA, teach your children to swim, because drowning in pools is like a big cause of child death.
There were some pretty strong words on both sides. Wife and I left after the other brother-in-law fell over and face planted while yelling at us. Now they're saying I should have let the little shits knock me into the pool and have their fun and ruin my phone. So am I the a-hole? Side note, Dad, of course, never got out of the whirlpool.
I think the only person that has this all figured out is the dad, who's just watching everything, not getting involved and drinking his beer.
He's in the whirlpool with his cooler of beers, living it up while everyone's yelling at each other.
So question, I want to know from everyone else, do you think OP is the a-hole? I'm going to say a little bit, just how OP is like describing the whole situation. Just, I'm getting snooty vibes.
He's giving like, I'm too good to be at this barbecue.
I feel like OP came in with a bad attitude, but is OP the a-hole for stepping out of the way of charging children who don't know how to swim? No.
They shouldn't have been charging at him.
Man is like a bullfighter, is like olaying those kids right into the pool. And like, hey, if they drown, that's not his problem.
He hates those kids.
He wants to be child free.
Yeah.
All right. If it was me, if I knew those, like there were drowning kids in the pool, like, yeah, I mean, but we're nice people.
We're nice people. OP's
a little bit of an asshole. It's not his necessarily like responsibility to save those children. I think he's like, if I saw anyone drowning, I'm going to try to save them.
I would try to save them, but maybe I just like children.
Yeah. Maybe you don't want to be child free. Yeah. Do you want to be child free? And if you saw a drowning child, would you save them?
Yeah.
All right. Well, put your comments down below. We love you.
We love you.
We love you so much.
More than OP loves those kids.
God.
A lot more.
A lot more than OP loves those kids. And we love you, and we'll see you soon.